Well, hi there, this is DBT, and alright, it's time to continue playing Asphalt 9. Like I said on the last video, this is gonna be a bit more of a thing that you're gonna be seeing on the channel, along, with the classic playthroughs of other things. But yeah, more of the racing content, because, like I said before, there's a lot of racing that I do on my spare time, so I thought that it would be a good idea to kinda involve you a little more into this. Anyway, this particular video, I'm going to be focusing on the multiplayer aspect. In the previous video, I did a bit of an overview on the game, my thoughts on it, on why I like it, what I hate it. And one part that I didn't get to play too much or show too much was precisely the multiplayer. I showed just this specific event that was available here. I didn't show the normal multiplayer because I wanted to wait until the season was over, and now I can show you the multiplayer from the very beginning. So that's kind of the idea behind this particular video. So we're gonna start in the, I haven't played this at all. You can see that I don't have any score, I don't have anything. This is the classic series, which means that it's just gonna be standard multiplayer, knockdowns all left and right, and classic rules, nothing special about it. So I specifically wanted to have a look into this to show you that why I don't like the multiplayer as much as I wish I did. The first thing is going to be my qualifying race, which usually, since it's right at the beginning, I can only use D-class cars, which over here they're shown as bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and legend, meaning this is D, C, B, A, and S tier class. So I cannot jump into using any of these cars because I'm not in that league. At the moment, I'm still on the beginner, so I have to go with a simple car. And in fact, I'm going to choose. I could use one of my good Class D cars like the DS E10s or maybe the Lotus Elise Sprint. Those are probably some of the best that I have. But I want to try with particularly bad cars at the beginning just to give you an idea as to why I dislike the multiplayer in Asphalt 9 compared to Asphalt 8. So like I said, oh, and by the way, sorry about my activate Windows messages, it's just gonna be there forever, so don't worry about it. Just ignore it, pretend that it's not even there. So my rank is 660, but you can see that I'm already being matched against 800s, 1500s. There was a 20-something 2000 and something. And that's precisely why I don't like multiplayer in here, because the matchmaking, it's almost non-existent. Let me see what I can do in this particular race. Again, this is a car that I'm using, the Mitsubishi. It's not great. I barely have it upgraded. So this is in fact the starter car for in this game altogether. So I'm purposely going with the bad car precisely to show what it would be like to start going into multiplayer with your crappy car right when you started playing the game, and why I keep saying that if you want to play multiplayer, you should probably wait until you have somewhat decent cars. So again, I should probably mention that I don't consider myself a fantastic player of this game. I consider myself an average player, not even a good one, just average. I can do some good things. I generally don't know the tracks all that well enough to be like, oh, Jesus, I am an amazing player. But I feel like I can defend myself. But so as I was saying, the multiplayer in here is based specifically on your car class. So right now, like I said, because I'm on the beginning of the multiplayer, I can only use the class car. So does everybody else. So in theory, it should sound fair, right? Oh, it's just D versus D class cars. The problem with this is that the game has this very strange balance, quote unquote balance in the cars, where you're gonna see cars in the D class that can absolutely not only beat but destroy cars on class C, class higher. Even in class B, they can compete. So that's precisely why I don't like this type of multiplayer. Because sure, I am racing only against D class cars, sure. Well, right now, because it's my my start race, the starting race in this thing, it's gonna match me, I think, against just about anything. Over here, unfortunately, it doesn't show. I don't think it shows what rank they're on, but it gives you an idea of what cars they're using. So this is D, this is D. All of these cars are class D. But like I said, your starting car is 600 of rank. And look at that, I'm racing against people of 2000, 1500, 1900, 2300. So it's a big disparity. Basically, the game only does is, all right, Is any car Class D? Yes. Okay, put them all together. I don't care what the actual rank of the car is. Put them all together, and that's how you're gonna race. And I make I insist on why I dislike this compared to Asphalt 8, because in Asphalt 8 it has a similar system where you can only, when you're in certain league, you can only race with Class D cars. The difference is that in Asphalt 8, if you're using a car with a rank of 600, I mean, there's not this rank doesn't exist there, but I'm just as an example. If you're racing with a car of 600, it's gonna place you against people of around 600. So you're gonna be finding some 500, some 600, some 700, but you're not gonna be finding a 2000 rank. And that's why I prefer so much more the multiplayer in Asphalt 8. Because in here, I don't even see the point. I mean, I could be wrong about this, and I'm not pretending like I'm the big connoisseur of this game and I know all the ins and outs, because I haven't played this game as much as I've played Asphalt 8. I'm much more familiar with Asphalt 8. But for all that I've seen in this game, I really don't see the point of you getting some of the cars in this game other than for the collection. Like, let's say that I'm a big fan of this blue car over here, the Volkswagen concept. I don't know what the hell it's called, and actually I do like how the car looked, but the reality is that you pick it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna jump into multiplayer and use my car and all of that, and you're just gonna get destroyed. It doesn't matter if you have it upgraded all the way up, because its maximum rank is something around, I don't know, like 1500, I think, and you're still gonna be facing those cars of 2000. The biggest, I mean, the highest Class D car that I am aware of is the Mazda Furai, and that thing is almost 3000 in rank. Imagine that. There's B class cars that don't even get to well, it goes to 2900, but still, the point stands still. There's B class cars that are not even that high. Oh, and this fucker just knocked me down. So yeah, that's why I don't love this multiplayer. And not only because I'm getting my ass beaten, that's not the problem. I don't mind losing. In fact, I've been very vocal about, because there's a lot of people who play this game and they hope to win every race and everything, and I was, and I still am very vocal about, if matchmaking is doing what it should be doing, you shouldn't be winning every race. You should be winning maybe half of the races, even less. Just because it's meant to pit you against people that are better and people that are worse. So that makes sense. That's matchmaking working. But in here, the problem is that it doesn't matter if I'm really good. If I only have a crappy car in Class D or whichever, really, in whichever class, doesn't matter if I have a crappy car, people that have better cars have a much, much, much higher chance to win. So I got a second place in that one because I did okay-ish. I gained a bunch of points. You can check the leaderboard to see what you were racing. So right now I'm using the Nissan 370Z Nismo, which is pretty much upgraded all the way up. And it reaches 1600, well, 1662, right? But you can see that I'm racing against a DS E10s at 1900, which is also the maximum, another one, and that's what I'm saying. The fact that you have better cars doesn't mean that you're gonna win. I still beat this guy who was ahead of me, same, I mean, in the ranking, same with this guy. So I'm not saying that, oh, they only win because they have a better car. But the reality is that that's pretty much where this goes. Like I said, if you're a really good driver and you're racing against other people that are really bad, yeah, sure, you might take the win. But in general terms, you're just always gonna be encountering people with much better cars. And like I was saying, the problem for me, and not that I lose, it's fine that I lose. The problem is that it makes it so that certain cars that I want to use are not viable at all. Because then it's like, oh, for example, I like Lambos, right? And I want to use the Lambo Asterion when I'm in the Class B. The Asterion, or Asterion, however you pronounce it, it's not an amazing car. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. It can defend itself. But I don't see no reason to use it when I have, for example, the Chevy Corvette Grand Sport. I have that car, which is also Class B, but it's so much, much, much better than the Asterion. So then when I'm playing, why should I use the Asterion if it's in the same league, and the other car that I have that it's better is gonna perform so much better anyway? So that's the problem that I have with this multiplayer, that I don't see any incentive to try other cars. Like, I know there's what's it called, in this upcoming season, well, this season that just started, the Lamborghini Aventador, SVJ Roadster was added in the game, and of course I want to use that car if I can get it eventually. You know, because in the other video I talked a lot about how oh, this fucker just rammed me and made me lose all my speed. Oh Jesus. Let's say that I eventually managed to get that car that I want, right? But looking at where it's placed in the, you know, in the rank of A-class cars, it's not an amazing A-class car. I have better A-class cars than that one, so why would I use that car? I will get it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool, I have it. And that's it. Why would I use it if I have better cars, you know? So, I don't know, maybe, I don't think I'm alone in thinking this way, but whoa, that's a lot of spins. In Asphalt 8, and sorry that I'm going to be talking obviously about Asphalt 8 because that's my main thing, not so much Asphalt 9, but in Asphalt 8 there has been a lot of rebalance of a bunch of, oh I'm sorry dude, didn't mean to knock you. There's been a lot of rebalance of certain cars and people hating the fact that cars are being rebalanced and some cars are being nerfed, you know? And I said one thing that I still think it's very true, at least for me. I don't race cars because I want to win every race. I race cars because I like certain cars and I want to be using them. That's why I do it. Alright, 30 points, not bad. Pretty good actually. So alright, I've been holding on using my DS E10s, but I'll use it just to show you that it does perform really good. And it's still Class D. Yeah. So for example, in Asphalt 8, I don't mind using Lambos or whatever car, you know, not necessarily Lambos, but whatever car that I like, and it might not perform great, but you know, I still like using it. And because there is some actual matchmaking in Asphalt 8 where it tries to pitch you against people around the same rank, then I'm gonna be racing against people who have relatively similar performance. There's still, you know, there's a whole thing about tuning and all, and if how you tune the car, it may perform better in some cases, all of that shit. But shit, I totally lost my train of thought for seeing how many DS E10s are in this race. So yeah, my car in Asphalt 8 may not perform great, I might still lose, but at least it will be a somewhat more fair fight. Like, I do believe that there's a small degree of matchmaking in this game. Like right now you see I'm using the DS E10s and it's matching me against a lot of DS E10s. I don't know if that's additional matchmaking, like, okay, now he's using a stronger car, let's pit him against people with the stronger car. But even when I was using, oh, this shit. Even when I was using the super crappy cars, I was still fighting against DS E10s, this same car. So matchmaking or not, the end result is that it's always gonna end up being a situation where it's gonna be unfair. Because people with better cars, you're gonna be racing them. And with much better ranking too. And you know, that actually brings me to this thought that I had, because somebody mentioned this the other day on I don't remember if it was on stream or it was on Discord. Links to both are gonna be in the description. But, well, they were saying that, you know, how there is this, I think it was on stream, yeah, that they were talking to me about how certain games have matchmaking. They have matchmaking that works in a way to push people toward, how can I explain this? That push people to wanting to have something more expensive in the game. So basically, it will be a situation where, you know, it's like, oh, I have this crappy 600 rank car, but I can see that, oh, the DS E10s has a rank of 1900 and it performs so much better. I want that car. And then that kind of leads people to aim for that car. So maybe that's something, I don't know, because obviously I don't get to see the, oh, I reached the next league, good. Now I can use C-class cars. So maybe it's done on purpose, just so that crappy players, not crappy players, but you know, players with crappy cars get matched against people with much better cars, and then those players are gonna be like, oh, that car actually performs really good. I wanna have it. So I don't know if it's done on purpose or if really they were just that careless about it, and they're like, yeah, let's just match them against whoever. So in the end, it just comes down to this whole idea, and I know that I'm rambling here, but you know, that's how these videos go. That's why I don't like the multiplayer so much in this game. I enjoy it, obviously, that's why I'm playing it, and I do have some fun with it. But I go to that point where I try to get a buffer of points just to use the crappy cars that I like, and you know, do a bunch of races with them, and even if I'm losing points, I still have that little bit of a cushion of point just to not go too far down on the leaderboard. But yeah, it's just upsetting to me that the focus in here is so much about, you know, get the absolute best car on this league and just use that all day. That's it. Oh yeah, and the sounds are not working again. They were working better a little while ago. Now apparently they're messy again. I don't know what's happening. Oh well. I still haven't figured out why the sounds aren't working great. Someday we'll get there, boys, I promise. So yeah, right now I'm on C class, and I'm purposely using also a not so great C class car. This is one of the lowest class C cars in the game. And I'm getting some performance issues over here. Okay, it's fine. Again, I'm doing it precisely just to show the point that I'm trying to make over here. The only difference is that over here... What? Was that guy going backwards? I don't know. Is that, for example, it's still gonna match me against some D-class cars. Because so you're limited only on the... when you're in this league, you can only use Class C cars and the previous league, so you can use Class D and Class C, but you're gonna use B. Once I reach the next league, then I will be able to use Class B, Class C, or Class D, and so on. So people in this league are still, sometimes you're gonna see people using Class D cars, and that's actually what I wanted to say, that this is a crappy C class. Let's see, I'm willing to say that the guys that won have a better Class D. Yeah, the DS E10s, the one that I was using in my previous race. See, this car in Class C, it's 1700, almost 1800. This car in Class D has a higher ranking and much better performance in general, so I can tell you that much. So we have some Class C, this is Class C, and look at the ranking of this Class C car, 3000 versus 1700. So you see how there's a big disparity on the performance. I mean, I did make some mistakes on the race, so I'm not gonna say that I did perfect, but still, look at the difference of almost, what is that, 13 seconds of difference between first and third place, and I felt like I wasn't driving absolutely terrible. Probably if I hadn't messed it up, it would have been a difference of just 10 seconds, but it's still a big difference. So that tells you that the performance of the cars that are being matched doesn't really compare. So yeah, I purposely just wanted to use a crappy C class car. Don't ever use this car, by the way. This car is absolute trash. I don't know why they put it. It's the absolute worst of Class C. And, you know, it's the starter, but the starter in Class D is not terrible. The starter in Class C is. But anyway, let me try this one. I've never used this car in multiplayer. I have it slightly upgraded. Let me put a couple of upgrades, a couple more upgrades just for the sake of it. And see how it does. Never used this. I think it should perform somewhat okay. You can see it's on the 1800, almost 1900, so it's aroundish the same rank as the DS E10s from Class D. But I don't know, we'll see how it performs. And yeah, you can see all of this, Class D, these are Class C, Class C. These are high-end Class C. Look at the ranking of this one, 3100. So yeah, it's the multiplayer in this game is just weird. And I really wish it just had better matchmaking. It matched people around the same rank. And, you know, because that would allow me to use cars that I don't usually... Like I said, I've been playing this for a long time, and I've never used this car once in multiplayer because I have better C-class cars, so why would I use a bad one, you know? This game just seemed to be too focused on use the absolute best car available in the class and nothing else. While Asphalt 8 with the matchmaking definitely allowed you to go a bit more creative on the cars that you would use. And by the way, this car that I'm using, it's a rare car. It's not easy to get, at least not to fully upgrade. So I'm not surprised that it actually performed pretty good. The nitro on this car, since again I really never used it, so I hadn't noticed this before, but the nitro on this car is pretty good. Oh, this fucker. And yeah, the usual knockdowns. I tell you, man, I know that this was the selling point of the Asphalt games, the knockdowns, but they're so annoying in multiplayer. Because then it's less about can you drive proper, it's more about can I fuck you over? That's basically what it is. But well, you know, I signed this to this knowing that would be the case, so I can't complain too much about it. But that's not gonna stop me from still complaining, so there you have it. Alright, had it not been for that goddamn knockdown, I would have ended probably in like second place maybe. So I lost a little bit of points. That's another thing, this game, really feels too extreme with the point given and taken. The first place is gonna win 30 points. Let's say there's 6 people on the race. The first place is gonna get, I don't know, 30 points maybe. It varies, right? But let's say that it gets 30 points. Then the second place is gonna get 15. Third place is gonna get 5 points. Fourth place, you're gonna lose 5 points. Fifth place, you're gonna lose 10 points. Sixth place, you're gonna lose 20, 30 points. And just statistically speaking, unless again you have really amazing cars, you're gonna lose a lot of races. So the odds are stacked against you, where you're gonna lose a ton of points and rarely gain them. At least that has been my experience. But I'm talking precisely from the side of being a player that doesn't have the best cars, that is just a free-to-play player. So it's not like I have a bunch of amazing cars that I bought with real money or anything. And I'm not hating, by the way, on people who do it. If you can do it, and you're willing to spend your money like that, more power to you. You know, I don't care. I'm not here gonna say that, oh, you have a better car, so you're cheating or anything. No. But I'm just saying all this precisely because it's from the perspective of a free-to-play player, and just see what you can do in the game with the limitations that the game imposes you for being a free-to-play player. Oh shit. Whoa, okay. Oh, he came back, good. It's alright, not much. I'm not too surprised that this car isn't doing like absolutely amazing, but honestly it's doing better than I thought it would, so I can't really complain. I do have better C-Class cars in reality. I have the Viper ACR, which is a really strong C-Class car, but I'm just, again, avoiding not using it, just to enjoy a bit more these low tier cars and not worry too much about winning and losing too many points. Because later in the game, in the multiplayer seasons, once you get a decent amount of points because you've been racing pretty good and all of that, you become too, oh shit, I think I took the wrong path over here. You become a little bit too precious with your points, you know? Like, oh, I don't want to lose any points, so nah, I'm not gonna do that race. Nah, I would lose some points, so let's not use that. Oh, Jesus. Let's not use that car. What? Oh, shit. I wasn't trying that. But double knockdown. All right, there you go. So I gained 30 points. It doesn't say how many this guy won. But I can tell you, a lot of these people lost a bunch of points. So, all right. I'll say I'm surprised with the performance of this car. Again, it's not impossible to get this car. But it's somewhat tough. It's not very easy to 3-star it. But yeah, it's working pretty good. I'll continue to use it, see how far I can get. So yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts in general on the multiplayer. And I'm gonna keep on talking about this because, by the way, this is, like I said, you're gonna see a bit more content of this type on the channel now. And what better way to show the game than multiplayer, right? Well, I guess I could do a little bit of career too, but career is not as interesting, although at least career does give you an opportunity to use cars that you usually don't use, at least not in multiplayer. So see the ACR, the Pininfarina Speed, and the Acura NSX. Oh, and the Maserati Alfieri. Those are like top dogs on C-Class. Not the absolute best, but they're the best that you can get without paying money. All those cars you can get for free, because there's, for example, the Lamborghini Gallardo. I learned that you pronounce it Gallardo. The Gallardo, that's possibly the best, the very, very, very best car in Class C. That car can compete with S-tier cars when you have it all maxed up. I mean, not the best S-tiers, but you know what I'm saying. So, but that car you cannot acquire it all unless you actually shell out money during the event, or you have a gajillion tokens to spend. Then you can get it. But yeah, it's very, very difficult to get those. So for every car class, or every class of cars, there is the absolute beastly cars that you will just not be able to get, period. You know, it's another one of those things that you can, when you come into this game again, if you're coming from a free-to-play perspective, that's one of those things that you just have to accept. And yeah, I'm not surprised that I'm getting my ass handed down in this particular race. I haven't really messed it up. I really haven't messed up the race. I mean, I might not be driving like an absolute beast or anything, but I'm not driving bad. I haven't made any major mistakes or anything. And yet I'm in 6th place. Just because the cars that I'm racing against are too good, period. That's basically what it is. So yeah, I think I'll switch it up just to show you a few more cars of Class C that I have. I do have a bunch, right? But, you know, only a few that I've focused on upgrading because they're somewhat okay to use. And I love doing that. Look at that. 6th place, minus 17 points. Goodbye points. Goodbye. It was nice to meet you. The good thing about multiplayer is precisely getting a bunch of credits and all of that. So there's definitely a reason for you to do multiplayer. And in fact, it's here, rewards, I think. And league rewards. Yeah, so by finishing on the silver league, if I finish, by the time the season ends, if I end here, I get the bronze pack and it's going to give me blueprints either for this or that. In my case, it doesn't matter because I already have them both maxed, I think. So for silver league, it's basically the same. For gold league, which is I think the highest I've gotten. No, I've gotten to the next one, but yeah. I don't care about this too. This car I wanted, I don't have it. And you can only get this car precisely by participating in multiplayer. On Platinum League, you get... what you get? Oh, the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. Oh shit. And if you... I've only made it to this league, the Platinum League. Never reached the Legend League. Someday I'll make it. And in here, these are the possibilities of what you can get. So yeah, there's certain cars that are multiplayer exclusive, which sucks. But hey, I guess it's an incentive for you to try it out. Alright, so a better car that I got for Class C would be the Rizvani Beast X. I think that's my second best. Oh, no, never mind. I do have some more. This is a pretty good car. Like I was saying on the previous video where I was saying that there's certain events that happen weekly. This is one of those for the Rizvani Beast. It's available for 2 days, and easily you can only get 2 blueprints for this car by just finishing the race or winning the race. But if you beat certain time objectives, you can get additional packs to maybe get to maybe get additional blueprints, and it's just maybe. So it's really a heavy grind to get this car, and it's not even one of the best. You can see, I think this is like halfway there on the performance of C class tier, C class. You know what I'm saying? But it's a fun car, and I like it. I like how it looks, and it brings me memories from Asphalt 8, where this car is at the moment of recording still a massive beast, but in multiplayer because it's a high-end Class A car. In here is just a mid Class C, but hey, you know, that's why I made the emphasis on at the time of recording, because it seems everything points out that in Asphalt 8 it's gonna get nerfed heavily. So, oh well. But you know, it also ties with the idea that I was saying that there are certain cars that I like racing with them just because I like the car, not so much the performance. So I'll probably end up using this same car in Asphalt 8 a bunch, even if it's no longer a massive king of the game. So yeah, sorry if the sounds suddenly aren't playing again. It's one of those weird things that I don't know what's happening, but it just happens. Whoa, that's a Pininfarina that just completely passed me. Oh, but I took this jump better. I might be able to keep this first place, maybe. No, he's coming. It's coming. Come on. Come on! He's right behind me. There you have it. Beautiful. All right, 42 points. Sure. Yeah, the Pininfarina. Vencer Sarth. It's another really strong. But you know, just saying that they have this car doesn't necessarily mean... Oh, look at that. This is a Class D that managed 4th place. Very, very cool. Just the fact that they have the car doesn't mean that they have it like at a good state. Because again, the whole thing that I was talking about, the stars and how that limits how much you can upgrade the car and all of that. Ah, Jesus, so many pop-ups here. But you got this, you got that. So, all right, that's gonna be the last race for this video. But in the next one, we will continue using C-class cars and see where we get. But yeah, just very quickly wanted to say precisely that the fact that they have the car like the Maserati Alfieri is a really strong car. You can see basically on how they're ordered, the worst cars are on the left, the best cars are on the right. So the further on the right they are, the better they are. So the for example, the Maserati Alfieri, I could use this in multiplayer, but it would perform really bad because I barely have it upgraded. And even if I have it fully upgraded to where it allows me to, because it's 2 stars, it's still worse than, for example, this car that I have it at 2700, pretty much maxed. So yeah, just seeing somebody that has a certain car doesn't necessarily mean that they have it properly upgraded. And yeah, sometimes it can be deceiving. It's like, oh my god, I beat that car, but turns out that they have it at horrible tuning. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on the multiplayer on Asphalt 9. And again, this is something that you will be seeing much more on the channel, just because I find it enjoyable to do, even though I'm whining so much about the system of the multiplayer. But you know, at least I get to show you some of my some of the races and some of the cars and all of that shit. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the multiplayer. If you've played Asphalt 9 in multiplayer, if you only played Asphalt 8, how does this multiplayer sound to you? Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, go to my Twitch, subscribe over there if you can afford it, if you can support me with any donation or anything, I would greatly appreciate it. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care everybody, and stay safe. Bye-bye.